So today we're going to be looking at the Poxwalkers and how we're going to be dealing with them with our Necron Codex. So let's first go through what the Poxwalkers are all about, talk about the good things and the advantages that they have within game, and then later on, we'll go over some things that we're going to be able to do when trying to defeat them. So first thing of note, of course, they're going to be a troop selection for the Deathguard. They're going to be coming in up to units of 20 models, and they're only cheap too, so expect quite a lot of them when you are playing Deathguard. Now with the Deathguard, they've got the abilities such as the Contagions of Nurgle, so when you're within a certain range of any Deathguard model, you're going to have a -1 to your toughness, a little bit similar to our Rad Reaved custom code from our codex. Now as the game goes on, the actual range of that contagion does increase, so just be aware of that. From turns 4 onwards, it will be a 9-inch range. Now as for some of the other abilities with the Poxwalkers, every time the Poxwalkers remove a model that isn't a vehicle or a monster, they're going to be adding 1 back to their unit. So a very resilient unit, very similar to our warriors in fact. They're going to keep coming back, but this time it's whenever they remove our models. Now thankfully they can't be doing any actions, but they're still going to be an absolute pain to get rid of. In fact, they've got a 6+ feel no pain save, and they automatically pass morale as well. Now there is also a stratagem that's going to help their resiliency even more, which is the Dead Walk Again. Now it's only going to cost the opposing player 1 command point, and they're going to roll 7d6. And any rolls of a 3+, they get models back. So very similar to our reanimation protocols, when you bring a model back, you kind of gain in an extra bit of movement because you can put the model at the front of the unit, or you can put the model at the back of the unit, depends how you want to go. But if they happen to bring back 7 models, that's going to be a lot of movement going forward. Now, they've only got improvised weapons, so they're only strength 3, no AP, 1 damage. At first glance, you're not going to expect too much from it, right? You'll be wrong. They've got 2 attack space, and when you've got 20 models in a unit, that's going to be 40 attacks. Now, even though it is only strength 3, remember they -1 to our toughness. So going up against, say, our Necron warriors, they're going to be wounded on a 4+. And there is lots of ways to actually boost the strength of these guys as well. You've got Typhus, who's the Deathguard Chaos Lord. He can boost their strength. You've got the Malignant Plague Caster, who's their Psyker. He can also boost their strength as well. In fact, you can pair both of those together to have a strength of 5. And if they were going up against our tougher things, toughness 5 stuff like Lich Guard, Destroy Occult units, they'll be wounded on a 3+, because they remove our toughness 4. Now they get even deadlier if they take the correct play company. If they take the Harbingers, then there's a stratagem which they get to reroll all their hit rolls. So again, with 40 attacks, rerolling all the hit rolls, it's going to do a ton of work. Now there's another stratagem to look out for, which is the Mutant Strain. This is also going to cost them 1 command point, and any unmodified hit rolls of a 6 inflict a mortal wound. Again, when you've got 40 attacks, any 6s are mortal wounds, that's going to be devastating. Now if they do roll 1s with this stratagem, they will actually remove themselves. But don't forget, every time they kill our guys, they bring models back. So this stratagem you're going to see quite a fair bit. And even if they went after a character or a vehicle with quantum shielding, with 40 attacks you can expect around 6 mortal wounds on average. That's going to completely eliminate some of our character models and do a lot of damage to those quantum shield vehicles. And then of course you've still got to add up the damage they do from their improvised weapons alone. This is just additional damage on top. But the main use for the Poxwalkers is pretty much screening the board. There's a lot of models, very cheap to run, but they're also going to be scoring their primary objective. Not so much secondary objectives because they can't do the actions. There's still some secondaries they can do of course, but mainly it's board control, screening off models and holding on to primaries. So how do we defeat them as a Necron player? Now thankfully they don't have the Armour of Contempt in their rules, even though they are Deathguard. In fact they don't even have an armour save, they've got a 6+ feel no pain save, but they are toughness 4 with 20 body, so that's going to take a lot to get through. Now at range we've got options, so firstly of course the 20 Ghost Reapers from our Necron warriors. They should quite comfortably blow 14 to 15 of these guys off the board in 1 volley of shots. 18 to 19 with the Mar will be done ability, which you will likely have if you've gone warrior heavy. Now maybe it's ideal to use the Veil of Darkness turn 1 in fact. Get nice and close, turn 1, shoot them off the board, don't let them do anything within the game. Alternatively, you've got Tomb Blades. We actually did a video on Tomb Blades quite recently. They've got a similar damage outgoing with 9 of your Tomb Blade models. Now, we're likely going to be taking them in 3s for doing actions and stuff, but if you do manage to take them in a group of 9, you can expect the similar damage output as the warriors there. In fact, it slightly does increase with the Tesla carbines, only by a little bit though. Now in terms of other shooter units, well Tesla is kind of the way to go really. Exploding 6s that likely wound on a 3+, you don't really need any AP. I mean Annihilation barges can put out 13 shots with their Tesla weapons, which is going to kill around 7 of those on average. That's without any Mar will be done abilities or the Silent King abilities in fact. In fact, speaking of the Silent King synergy, if you are using the Silent King to reroll your hit rolls with Tesla, if it isn't a 6, just re-roll the whole lot. You're hitting on a 2+ anyway. You've got the same chance of rolling a 1 as you do as a 6, but a 6 gives you 2 additional shots, whereas that missed 1 is just 1 missed shot. You may as well re-roll everything you've got, try fishing for those 6s. Now a Hexmark Destroyer with the Gauntlet of the Conflagrator, which is another video we did recently in fact, that relic alone will remove around 3 Poxwalkers, then the pistols will remove around 4 or 5 models, but that's only 65 points spent on one of those characters. So you're removing almost half the unit there, and if the Poxwalker unit decides to actually charge your Hexmark Destroyer, well guess what, you got Overwatch and you hit on a 2+ with a Hexmark in Overwatch. Now in melee they're going to go down quite quick to be fair. If you've got the attacks in mass, it's just a question of whether we can actually finish the unit entirely before they manage to actually hit us back. Now bear in mind that we're going to have a reduced toughness as mentioned because of that contagion ability that the Poxwalkers have, so you don't want them to have any attacks on our guys whatsoever. So we don't really need the high strength, high AP weaponry here, so all the elite stuff like the Scorpion Destroyers, let them go fight the Plague Marines, let them go fight the Black Lord Terminators. It's too wasteful using it on Poxwalkers. Also be a little bit wary of Canoptic Scarabs because they're going to drop down to toughness 2. So those Poxwalkers are going to be wounding them on a 3+ as well, quite easily a 2+ with a single buff to their strength roll. But really it's more advisable taking them out at range, don't give them the opportunity to fight us whatsoever. If you are going to fight them, you don't want to put your high strength stuff into it, you don't need your war scythes on your Lich Guards for example. But again, just be aware, if you're taking the Lich Guard with the Sword and Shield, yeah that's only 1 damage, that's not too bad I guess. But if they manage to hit us back and throw out all those mortal wounds, you're going to be losing quite a few Lich Guard. So yeah, definitely do it at range. Immortals, Warriors, Tomb Blades, even your Canoptic Spiders, they can do a bit of damage to get rid of these mutant zombies. So yeah, make sure you're doing it in mass. Low strength, low damage, low AP, don't need any of that stuff. As long as you've got plenty of attacks and don't go wasting the big stuff on this unit, it's not worth it. But the bottom line is you do need to deal with them. Do not ignore them, you will regret it.